a Jones Library trustee, and I serve on the Buildings and Facilities Committee. The board, I am in favor of the referral. We did not vote on that as a board. That's not something we discussed. We did, however, vote unanimously 6-0 not to endorse the article, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I think first and foremost, what needs to be addressed is the fact that the North Amherst Library has had issues relative to accessibility and lack of a public bathroom for far, far too long. And I think that people are genuinely frustrated by how long that process has taken, and I understand that. And quite frankly, I appreciate this petition, and I appreciate the people behind the petition because they have kept the North Amherst Library and the South Amherst Library at the top of the needs. And when I joined the trustees less than a year ago, I heard about the North Amherst Library. I used to live in the South Amherst area, so Munson was my library, not the North. And it was their voice that brought it to our attention. And I can tell you that it has been a topic of conversation with the trustees, at least since I have been on the board. So to that end, as people have already spoken to, the goals for the library director, she has 3 for her contract, and one of those is addressing the needs of the branch libraries. Also, the action plan for the library for FY19, we identified gaps in services that have been identified, as well as the immediate priorities for the library. Also under those sections of our fiscal year 19 plan are the needs of the branch libraries. To that end, the director and staff of the North Amherst Library will be developing, at the behest of the Building and Facilities Committee, which has already met and discussed this, with community feedback, a building program this year for the North Amherst Library. A building program, as many of you heard me talk about last town meeting, identifies the services the branch will offer, such as community meeting spaces, adult fiction, ESL rooms, children's, etc., and the space needs associated with each service. The library's fiscal year 19 budget includes a placeholder for the architect fees for design work once the building program is complete. We don't know the full scope of the work to be done yet, so there's a placeholder rather than a dollar figure. While the trustees appreciate the estimate of $50,000 in this article for those design fees and the efforts to request the funds from town meeting, the request is premature. The particular concern that we have with Article 14 is that it specifies the design of a plan under the constraints listed in paragraphs A through G. We don't necessarily take issue with any of the items in paragraph A through G, but without completing the building program, we're prematurely setting the design priorities for the building. For example, the warrant calls for doubling the public square footage from 800 to 1,600 square feet within the existing building, placing the entrance at the rear of the building on the ground floor, and creating a community room on the 3rd floor. These may all potentially be great ideas for a building program, but we don't know yet if it makes more sense to put the community room on the 1st floor where the entrance is going to be.
Finish up, please.
Okay, or if it's better to leave it on the 3rd floor. We don't know yet how best to put all of the services in the building. What we also don't know is if we finish all 3 floors, will we need additional staffing? Is that fiscally responsible? Can we do it? Can we not do it?
I'm sorry, you need to finish up.
Okay, I'll finish. We're thrilled that the petitioners are requesting funds for the design process, and we would hope that they would do so again for fiscal year 19 after a building program has been created. This particular warrant, however, is premature because it constrains designs to a plan that did not involve the library staff, library director, or the full community that relies on the branch. Thanks. Sorry for going over.